And hello and welcome back to Moon Thoughts, episode 6.
Yay!
Actually, together in person.
I know.
For the first time.
It's a live podcast, except it's not live. It just means we're all three here in person.
Yep.
So no more Discord disconnects. Hey. What are you looking
Okay,
at?
it actually is night now. I mean, where I was from last time recording, I was just kind of thinking, we call this Moon Thoughts, but I've never seen the moon around while I've been recording these.
Neither have I, but I've been indoors mostly. So...
Wait, are you guys saying that you haven't looked at the pictures that I made for each Moon Thoughts? Because that just makes me sad.
We should get a moon, like just a cardboard cutout of a moon that we bring with us.
I don't know, I've seen something cooler than that. It's like a lamp that you can like hang somewhere so the moon glows at night.
Also...
A moon lamp. I like it.
The picture I sent in the group chat earlier.
The bear?
No.
The
The other one that we'll get to in a moment. I'm not going to say anything about it yet.
Wait, the Snapchat?
Yes.
I know it.
That's the one that's going in the...
I skimmed through that group chat, and admittedly, I didn't take 2 seconds to look at the picture. So
okay, I'll show it to you.
It's pretty.
I'll show it to you when we get to that.
It has the same kind of feeling to it as the shaved bear.
Yeah, I was... From the second that I saw it, I was like, what is that? But I just kept scrolling through because I just wanted to catch up with the convo. Because apparently, somebody here's got a birthday.
Oh, no.
What? It's Amelia's birthday.
Yes, it is.
Sing.
No.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amelia. Happy birthday to you.
It feels weird not hearing like my real name in the birthday song.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for being anonymous.
Wait, that's not your real name?
What?
Been lied to?
I feel like it would have been better if you did say my real name and then you just put in Amelia.
Happy birthday, Amelia.
But from the episode where
Burnt Reynolds.
I mean,
I just got the weirdest message. Like
Burnt
it was.
Reynolds.
I got the weirdest message from today. So after all you guys said happy birthday in the group chat, it was just privately from
Burnt Reynolds.
And all it said was birth, and I was like, thank.
I usually respond if somebody just says thank. I just respond to them with welk.
Wait, can you just say the words Burnt Reynolds so I can edit them in?
Okay. Burnt Reynolds.
Alright.
Should I say more monotone so it's even funnier?
Yes.
I got a better one. Burnt Reynolds.
Burnt Reynolds.
Now every time we say
Burnt Reynolds,
I'm going to replace it.
Excellent.
Okay. This podcast, believe it or not, is about snakes.
Seriously?
No, not
When we're
again.
done, we'll meet you next week.
I feel like the puns make it like even worse when we're here with him in person. Like
That
before
wasn't
there's
a pun,
screen.
that was just bad.
Yeah.
That was just like...
No, but you guys get to see my face now, and that goes both ways because you get to see my face while I'm making the pun, and there's just a little extra spice added to it.
On the plus side,
of that,
if you do make a pun, I can hit you this time.
exactly. And on the other side of it, I love watching your guys' faces react to that pun, just sinking. Like you look so disappointed in me.
Okay, back to snakes.
Okay, snakes. What about it?
They have a few different names. I've heard
Are
snack,
you gonna
danger
say
noodle.
legs?
Snakes, they are like lizards, except they slithers.
That wasn't
I
even
feel like-
that wasn't even close to good. No. Usually I'll laugh, but that was
I feel like snakes are to lizards what salamanders are to slugs.
No, snakes are to lizards.
We're coming up with like those English things I had to figure out at the beginning of class.
I thought about that for a second and I really liked it. But I'm thinking snakes are to lizards like spaghetti
No,
is
it's
to pizza.
No, it's spaghetti. We had to learn that in class. We had to come up with Italian things in English today.
Is pizza just spaghetti with legs?
Yes.
Great.
Honestly, just don't think about it too much. It's an analogy, and it's supposed to make you understand snakes.
Okay, yeah.
My teacher got so mad about how he said spaghetti in class. He's like, it's not spaghetti, it's spaghetti. And all of us were like, spaghetti!
Should just say, snakes!
You were not doing, no.
Somebody touching my spaghetti.
And we're done. See you next week.
Wow, we were here for a while.
I thought I was bad, and then...
You are bad.
I know.
I'm so sorry.
You can't even say it. You just immediately realized.
I did say it.
You're so sweet. You're just like, you're so bad. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Okay. The very first question. When was the first snake made?
When was the first snake made? Well, obviously, you could go the biblical route, talk about Adam and Eve and shit like that. But you know what? We're not going to do that. In this case, we are going far back to, I want to say like 1850.
What
Here's
came
the thing.
first, the snake or the egg?
No.
The snake.
Here's what's up. We're going back to 1850, right? And what
1850.
everyone would have you believe is that snakes just, evolved like every other animal, right?
Right.
That's not the case. Snakes were actually a part of a grand mass conspiracy. It was obviously the Illuminati.
Right.
And what happened was they were genetically trying to fuse lizards and spaghetti, and snakes came about, and some of them got loose in the wild. So they started changing up every document in every library ever, and saying that snakes had always existed, and even changed passages in the Bible and stuff like that.
Interesting.
And so yeah, it was really a conspiracy all along. And this can be told by the fact that if you look at a snake, you wonder why.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I just completely zoned out after like... As soon as you said Illuminati, I was just like, Illuminati? Just spaced out.
See, they got to her. They didn't want her to listen. It's all a grand conspiracy. We're all going to have our memories wiped by the end of this.
I feel like in the, let's say, ancient Greek era, there were some scientists that saw a lizard and were like, huh, this is cool. And they just cut its legs off.
That's what I was thinking.
It could still move, and they were like, whoa, we got something.
Can they though? Can lizards move the same way snakes do without arms and legs?
Yes. And
Totally.
then they told each other, hey, you grab the head, I'll grab the tail, and we'll just run in opposite directions. And they did. And it just stretched. It was still alive. Now they have like this 12-foot long thing with no legs that looks like a fucking spaghetti. And they're just like, what?
When did the venom come about? Did they just take venomous lizards and do the same thing?
Next question.
This was... You're thinking too deep into this.
Alright, I came up with these questions last night, so I apologize in advance.
I'm already loving the questions.
Do snakes have wieners?
Do snakes? Well, actually, yeah.
Or are snakes wieners?
No, snakes have wieners because what's going on is that there's actually an underground snake fight club.
Okay.
Right? And there's not a lot of punching going on at this fight club, not a lot of kicking. It's just mostly tight rapping. It looks like
an underground rap battle.
Right. Yeah. It's an underground rap battle. And within these underground rap battles, as you so eloquently put it, there are little snake vendors that wear little snake hats and have glued little snake spatulas to their little snake bodies because they don't have arms, so they just,
I'm sorry, all I could think of was VeggieTales and how they don't have any arms, but they can still hold things.
Yeah, no, snakes aren't psychic. You're crazy. they don't have telekinesis. I always get the two mixed up. But snakes don't have telekinesis. That's crazy. But the truth is, they glued little spatulas to their bodies like arms, and then they took their little chef's hat and they made wieners.
Well, that would involve
hot dogs
them, if they
and
glue
sausages.
spatulas to the sides of their body. They can't. There's no muscles in the spatula. They can't just move. They can't lift it. They have to like bend backwards and grab themselves.
I mean, you're thinking way too deep into this. I mean, just picture.
It's my job.
Just picture the cute little snake in the chef hat and the little spatula.
Wait.
That shit's adorable.
This is gonna tie into later, but so does it work like the game Snake that you can play on some YouTube videos and other old
So the more
consoles?
snakes eat, the
No,
longer they get?
It's like when they eat a wiener, they just grow the length of that wiener.
No, actually, that's a myth. Just think of it this way: snake to snakes is like Jurassic Park to dinosaurs, right? Everybody would believe that a snake, if it just eats a wiener, it grows instantly,
Right.
just like that. But the truth is, snakes have feathers.
Okay. Did snakes fly?
Some do. That's a nightmare and a half.
I'm
right
trying
there.
to
Food
think
for
if
thought.
I've ever seen a flying snake before.
Yes, you have.
If you watch Planet Earth, you've definitely seen a flying snake.
Yeah, that's what.
Even if you haven't watched Planet Earth, you've definitely seen a flying snake.
I think
They're
I've
quick.
Seen, I think I've seen snakes like.
You've probably
I've never seen the wings, but I have seen them like.
They don't have wings.
no, they don't. They just fly.
Okay.
Um,
That explains what I've seen.
Definitely seen a flying snake. The problem is that they just went way too quickly for you to even perceive it. You saw it, but you didn't perceive it.
Are you ever sitting somewhere and like let's say you're doing homework, and then you just see like something move in the corner of your eye?
I hate that. That's
Flying
a snake.
Flying snakes. Exactly.
Do snakes play sports?
Do snakes? Well, as I
I
mentioned,
like to think they play jump rope with each other.
as I mentioned, snakes. As I mentioned,
I mean, that's where
I mean,
the
they
jump rope
get
game
boring
snake.
because like if they're flying, they can.
Well, like, think about it. That's where the jump rope game snake came from the snakes.
Yeah.
yeah, it was those. It goes all the way back to those Greek dudes. When as soon as they were like, "What the hell do we do with this 12-foot long?"
They just
noodle?" They started playing. That's where jump rope came from.
I
as
feel
it turns
really
out.
bad for that snake.
As it turns out, soccer.
How did they come up with a name for snake if it was a lizard? Did they just go like, okay, well, it's lost its... What do we call it? Because it's not a lizard.
I think comes from the sound that the snake makes.
Obviously.
Oh, well, yeah.
And nake was an ancient Greek word for neck, believe it or not. And
Which is why
they
we have
just
snack.
like, yo, this is like a fucking neck. And yeah.
And there you have it.
Well, that would also explain why we have snack now, too. They just got rid of the Greek snake.
That's just a meme.
Yeah, that's just.
It's just a meme. Nobody thinks about shit like that. But as it turns out,
She does, but.
Socrates was the Greek champion in double dutch.
Socrates?
Shh. Okay, so as it turns out, he was also just two snakes in a toga.
Right. Everything knows that.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as snakes playing sports go, I don't. The thing is, like, obviously they have the underground fight clubs, and really they're just underground rap battles at the same time.
How long have those been going on?
Oh, it's since 1850, obviously.
Okay.
That's what the snakes were originally engineered for. Were rap battles by the Illuminati.
You ever seen a buff snake? Like, it looks like a regular snake.
I
Once
feel
you
like
look
I've
at
seen
it
a
a little
Photoshopped
closer,
one.
it's
Well-
like just a big muscle.
Yeah,
the whole
it's
way
like
down.
Well, you know, you ever seen like some guy flex his arm,
Right,
And
it's
you
like
call them
that.
ooh, pythons,
The
like.
whole way down.
Well, you know, people say when they see a guy flexing, like, damn, you got some pythons there, you know, because that's where muscles actually came
I'm never going to mess with you ever again.
from. Or not?
No.
Oh, my muscles are being admired. That's great. that's great for boosting my ego. I appreciate it. However, anyway.
I thought I could like. No, I'm just gonna be nice to you now.
Somebody,
I'm like,
anyways.
go fuck yourself.
Get over here.
That spiked really high.
Good luck mixing that. Anyway, so way back to what I was saying. You know how somebody looks at a guy's arms and they're like, "Ooh, you got some pythons there, right?"
I've never heard that.
Well, I have. So that means it's real.
You know, you did.
That's where mussels came from. Mussels actually came
Mussels
from
like
snakes. No.
the food
like,
or
no.
the-
Like
okay, yeah, okay.
mussels on bodies. Because what happened was, when the Illuminati released all these snakes, and after the Greeks quit double dutching with the snakes, what happened was, the amount of snakes that got released, their first objective was to just go and bite people. And when they bit people, it was originally the venom. This is where the venom comes in now. It was originally steroids, and they bit people's bones, and people became buff. Everybody, believe it or not, between 1851 and at least 1899, everybody on planet Earth was shredded. But because the Illuminati realized that this became too powerful and everybody just wanted to start fighting each other and lifting weights, bro, they realized that, and so they altered the snake's genes to instead turn it into venom, and then all the dude bros died out.
In history, what was that era called? Because I think I fell asleep during class. I missed it.
That was the roid rage.
Roid rage.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
I
I will
think-
not be failing any more history tests.
I think
The
what-
roid ragian era.
I think what happened is like.
Was that before or after the Dark Ages?
This was 1850. Read a book.
So
Oh, yeah.
right in the middle. Anyway, I think what happened is they didn't replace the steroids with venom. I think they just because the purpose of snakes biting people was to harm them, right? Because
I totally misinterpreted what you said, and I thought of people biting snakes.
But like when a snake bites a person and they get buff, that's a problem for the snake, right? So they just kept making more and more steroids till people like just swelled up really fast, got super buff, and then they just exploded.
Oh, it exploded.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Or got deflated and
Oh, I should
fucking
switch
died.
this to cool. That's on more. There we go.
That's gonna be annoying. Oh well.
It's gonna be great.
That's what we get for
Good.
filming an e-house. Snakes versus snails.
Snails
Snakes.
have shells.
Snakes every time. Right?
No,
because
I'm like asking to talk about them.
snakes versus. Oh, okay. Like I thought you were saying like who
I don't
would
know.
win.
No.
Snails are
just-
kind of cool. They take things easy. They got those little like antenna
Who would win
things.
in
They're
a-
a bit slimy, and they just kind of appear too. Have you ever seen like a snail just like go in places, or do you just look around and you're like, oh, a snail?
No.
Also, they're also just kind of gone without a trace, but they also leave their shells behind. Like, you can see a snail up there just one day, and then the next you come back to see the same snail, it's just a shell.
Are snails snakes with homes?
Okay, honestly, the snakes versus snail debate, it's no contest. Have you ever seen a snail bigger than like your thumb?
No.
Yes.
When?
Whoa. Dr. Doolittle!
Oh right, okay. So you're an expert on this. So
Yes.
how big are the snails in France?
Like 3 feet long.
Are you serious?
Yes.
There are 3-foot snails.
Yeah.
Why would I ever go to France? That sounds fucking terrifying.
It is.
Are they just roaming the streets eating people?
No, they're not like super common, but sometimes you'll like catch them on a wall, like in a bush or something, if they're like vines somewhere.
They're stalking their prey.
But they only eat like plants.
Or is that what they want you to
They eat
think?
a lot of plants.
Snails want you to think that they're vegan because then they'll come
Maybe.
in and eat your face.
Maybe they eat small birds too.
What?
I can't be sure. I've never seen one eat a small bird, so.
Okay, but anyway. Okay, so snakes. Okay. But that's still, they're tiny. That's the fact.
Can we have another relativity thing? So we have lizards and snakes, spaghetti and pizza. So snails and snakes, what is that?
Snails are to snakes what hermit crabs are to crabs.
Do you make a point? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
No,
point.
no.
No way.
Yeah, that would be like
I
slugs
feel
to snails.
slugs to snails.
Hermit crabs to lobsters.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. That's more like it. Yeah, so the fact is, snails, okay, apparently are 3 feet long, which is terrifying, but that's nothing compared to pythons. I'm pretty sure the largest python in the world ever found was 33 feet.
Right.
Now that is literally 11 times the length of that snail.
Yeah.
Also,
Fucking
it's about as thick as your torso.
How
So,
thick?
Barb thick. Yeah. But they're about as thick as your torso
Yeah.
and eat crocodiles.
Yep, that's fucking.
And that reminds me of a thing. You know how hardcore Florida is?
No.
All right. Florida is so hardcore that I watched a National Geographic documentary about this when I was like 6.
Right.
Somebody just in the Everglades found half of a python with an alligator inside of it. So what had happened was, as far as I remember, this was like over a decade ago, so it was a while. But what I remember is that the python tried to eat the alligator, and it succeeded. It killed the alligator and ate it. But the alligator was too big for the python, and the snake exploded.
Oh!
That's fucking wild.
So, yeah, that's
Did
wild.
the alligator survive?
No. The alligator
He was
straight up
already
died.
dead.
And the body looked like, it's just like the head of an alligator sticking out of the body of a snake. It looked like a mermaid.
A very deranged mermaid.
Yeah.
Snalligator or
Snallig?
No,
Why
but it's a python, so like alapython? Alathon?
Alligate?
Alligate. I like snalligator better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm more afraid of cobras than pythons, just because.
Next question is in the
Okay,
same.
fine, just ignore me then.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Somebody came up to me once and was
Next
asking.
question is.
Somebody came up to me once and was asking about you, Amelia, but didn't know your name. And
Did you tell her it was Amelia?
no.
Because that would have been really fun.
Because he was describing, because I didn't know who he was talking about at first, and he kept describing her like, oh, it's the girl who's always the brunt of everybody's jokes.
Well, I was gonna say, did he say I was stupid? But I mean, I guess that's more appropriate.
No, he said the artistic one.
That's me! I'm a theater major. I don't have to be smart. I'm artistic! And you know what's funny?
Next question.
My acting teacher said the same thing! We were in class and she's like, I don't have to be good at math. We don't have to be smart. We're artistic. I was like, that's what I said!
I think she's onto something.
I think she's on something.
Oh man.
Next question is more or less the same topic that we were talking about before, not this whatever the fuck that was. Snakes versus slugs.
Snakes versus slugs.
Compare, contrast,
Okay, so
comment.
Okay.
nobody has legs. There are no legs here,
Right.
unfortunately, or arms. No digits. It's
No
just
houses.
it's just slime versus scales, and
Okay.
it's mouths versus whatever the fuck a slug has, like an orifice.
Oh,
Maybe.
but I just keep thinking back to those English exercises I had to do in like 5th grade or whatever, where they had blank is to blank as boy is to man or something like that. And so I'm thinking right now,
Snake
I'm thinking
is to
if
slug.
no, hold on, I'm thinking
as-
if snake is to lizard as spaghetti is to pizza, and snail is to slug
Nope.
as hermit crab is to crab,
No.
and snake
Is to snail.
is to snail as hermit crab versus lobster,
Yes.
then that means that snake as to slug is, let's stick to sea creatures here because that's going to make it easier. Forget the
Well,
spaghetti
if she
and pizza
used
equation.
the mathematical law of, I believe it is syllogism,
Ooh, we're getting serious here.
then that would mean snake is to slug as crab is to lobster.
Figured it out, everybody.
Mind blown.
Way to go, Tim.
Thank you. Thank you. Do any of you have any questions you want to interject
I just got schooled. I think
I only have 4 more, so
there are only
we
4
need to
more.
keep talking.
What
we have many
what
more
is
questions than we
the
do.
most dangerous type of snake?
I'm more concerned about what the most dangerous type of slug is.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I actually know this one because I was really into reptiles. I had a pet snake, actually.
I thought you were referring to slug as a reptile for a minute because you said like, "What's the most dangerous type
Wait,
of slug?" And then
the
like
slugs
you're like,
aren't
"I know
reptiles?
all about this."
No, slugs aren't reptiles. They're
Yeah, no, they're.
they're bugs.
No, I feel like bugs doesn't apply. Neither does insect. There's some.
No, they're not insects. There's another order within.
They're a garden something.
Yeah, there's another order, but they're far away from.
They're
far away from
kind of
reptiles.
like the platypuses, where they don't
I
really
feel like
belong.
Platypuses are mammals.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
But
I mean, they look like they have a duck's
I
bill,
feel
but I
like
mean, like a
they're-
I
shark.
thought it was being
Yeah.
argued about. Like I thought they hadn't figured it out yet.
No, I figured it
Slugs
out.
How behind am I?
are halfway in between a squirrel and a fly.
How so, squirrel?
So they live in the garden.
I think they're closer to the fly than they are to the squirrel.
They're small, but not that small. And they're the only stepping stone between a squirrel and a fly.
I don't know why, but
You
in
know
my
what that
head,
fits?
I see slugs as kind of like bullies to snails because they're bigger, and they don't have homes, so they're jealous of the snails, and so they just go around intimidating them.
You know
to
what
stay out of
slugs
the garden.
remind me of?
Hmm.
You ever had like a school fair or like something in elementary school and they gave you like those little plastic things filled with like jello or something and you could like
Those,
stick your
yeah.
finger in it?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Slugs.
Those are
I could never hold those because they would always like slip out of my hand. So wait, no, I shouldn't do that.
making some suggestive hand motions over here.
I'll let you guys use your imagination.
No.
Okay,
Why does that always happen to me?
you set yourself up.
Hey,
I
remember,
did.
remember when you were talking to me and my sister was in the room?
I never heard this story.
You should have told me.
She was talking about her sexual experiences with her boyfriend.
X.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
my bad. And my sister was in the room and I didn't tell her.
Tell me.
Well, yeah, it's okay. Okay.
And I keep bringing it up because my sister was totally okay with it, but it bothers her so much.
Way back to what we were saying.
Yes. slugs.
Yeah, about what is the most dangerous whatever.
Oh yes.
Most dangerous snake? I actually know this. On a super serious note, it is the black mamba because
I have heard of that.
yeah, black mamba lives in Africa. If it bites you, you are dead in minutes, as far as I can remember. And if you
Aren't cobras like the same thing? I thought they were.
Cobra's like you got a couple hours, I think.
Oh.
Mamba, it's like minutes. Like we watched Kill Bill Volume 2.
Yeah.
Mamba bit that dude 4 times, and he died in 2 minutes. Something like that.
What would happen if scientists took this a step further? So you know how we started with the lizard cut off its legs
And yeah,
did the whole
stretch it
shebang.
out.
I feel like
Right,
they
right.
just-
that they made a snake.
Yeah.
Now, let's say it's World War II, they're working on nuclear technology, right?
Right.
They just discovered how to split the fucking atom.
Yeah.
Yes. Amazing. The only problem is there's a lot of waste when you do that. Don't ask me how, because I don't know how nuclear physics work.
None of us
But
are nuclear physicists. It's
I
okay.
know that when you create nuclear energy, there's a lot of waste. And they just had some of the, I'm going to assume this waste is like slime or something.
Uh-huh.
And they just like looked at the snake, looked at the slime, dumped the fucking slime on the snake. And then they waited. Now the next morning, the snake was gone. There was no sign of it. Also, there was no more nuclear waste. Probably ate it, Who knows? And then a couple months later, there's a report of a dick-like object slithering around, leaving a fucking trail of snot behind it.
I feel like that's a deranged slug, basically.
Yeah, that's how slugs were made.
Well, I thought you were going to say, like, knowing how snakes were formed, how would scientists take it one step further to further?
Further to further.
How
yes,
would,
they would.
how would scientists take the experiments one step further to modify the snake? And I was thinking, what if they already removed the arms and legs. What if they just took it in the complete opposite direction and turned it into, like, a millipede snake and just gave it, like, 1,000 arms and legs?
That's where millipedes came from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They attached, like, they just, like,
they took a worm, gave it a shell.
They were, like, in some snowy place in the middle of the winter, and they were like, man, this fucking sucks. I'm gonna go outside for a walk. But it was, like, really cold, so, like, they didn't want to stay out there too long. But then they saw a pine tree, and they were like, you know what? Yes. And they cut down the pine tree, took it in. That was how the first Christmas tree came around.
Right.
So then they, like, hung out a bunch of lights. But as everybody knows, with real Christmas trees, they lose a lot of their needles, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, if we just vacuum them, this is back in, like, now we're in the Roman era, right? So if we just vacuum them, that's like they just go to waste. They're not. It's not enough to. Let me finish my story. So that's not enough to, like, set on fire to create any sort of sustainable fire. We already turned a snake into a goddamn radioactive dick. That didn't work. So they just took the next snake in line.
You're laughing like a snake.
And stuck a bunch of little needles in it. And lo and behold, the needles started moving. They all started moving together, and then the snake just went, like, 10 times faster than it ever went before. It's like the fucking wheel of snakes.
What I was going to say before about the Roman thing was, I don't know if you guys were laughing for the same reason I was. I feel like you guys were laughing for a different reason I was, and then I caught on, and then I laughed even harder. When you said the Roman era and the vacuums, I was like, haha, that's funny, because Romans didn't have vacuums. That's how lame my sense of humor is. And then I thought, wait, Christmas trees in the Roman era.
No, we were laughing about the vacuums.
Yeah, I was laughing about that was a double entendre there, because vacuums in Rome and Christmas in Rome. I just feel like Christmas in Rome, or no, Christmas is to Rome like orange juice is to toothpaste.
Yeah.
Except some of those people kind of like the orange juice.
What do you
and
know?
toothpaste.
I told the entire story without having looked at the next question. Do snakes celebrate Christmas?
No.
I
Actually,
think they celebrate Christmas for a different reason than we do. They celebrate it to celebrate the first millipede.
yeah, this is
when millipedes celebrate Christmas.
no. This is the time of year when, because snakes and millipedes, they're aware of their separated history, and they're usually at war with one another. As it turns out, you ever seen a millipede eat a snake? That shit is terrifying. All right.
Millipedes eat snakes?
Yes.
I don't know. I say yes, but and they're at war with one another.
Right.
But on Christmas Day, every year, there is a ceasefire, or in this case, a cease. And the two factions come together and play soccer. It's like World War I.
Yeah.
Except we call this one World War. I'm out of snake puns. Just next question.
Why would it be a world war if it's just a snake?
Because there are snakes all over the world.
I have a little bit to add to the history of snake
Okay.
creation. So now we're in probably around the early Middle Ages. Like the actual Middle Ages, like the 1000s.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. And people see a snake and they're like, yo, maybe we can eat it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not sure they want to eat it because they already have a lot of food. But so they just take it, stick it in the freezer, right? Like you do to keep food that you want to eat later, right? Right?
Just
And-
alive. They just throw it in the freezer.
Yeah.
Throw it in the freezer.
In the Middle Ages.
Probably eat all the
And-
food in the freezer before
yeah.
it dies.
Also, it's commonly known that they eat like sticks and everything in the Middle Ages, right?
Yeah. Naturally.
And so, like, a couple months go by, and they forget about the snake in the freezer because, like, it's the Middle Ages. They didn't use freezers all that much. And one day they're cleaning out the freezer, and they take out this rod of a frozen snake, and of course a couple branches like got stuck to it in the freezing process, right?
Uh-huh.
And they just set it on the table and cleaned out the freezer. Turn around, motherfucker's gone.
I would think it would take a while for it to unfreeze and wake up.
Well, it took a while to clean freezers back then.
Oh. My
Yeah, anyways.
apologies. My apologies.
Village, fucking absolutely terrified. Like, there's a monster killing our children in this town.
As was
And-
common in
yes.
the Middle Ages.
And there's no actual, like, real evidence, but there's a lot of ancient texts written about this where they saw this, what they describe as a branch with legs. Just eating children.
Is that the
That's-
stick bug thing?
There we go.
That's where stick
That's
bugs
the
came
birth
from.
of the stick bug.
Let me tell you one thing right here, right now. I am so glad I'm not a history major because I would be failing every single class right now. I am learning something new every single podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we are learning so much about
Yeah.
snakes and snake kind and how really important they are to the cycle of life and even our own history.
Right, right.
Not just that, but like in previous podcasts,
From-
I learned a lot about the squonk.
Yeah.
I'm proud to know more about that.
From Roman Christmas to...
Speaking of which, the Spunk Opera is coming up pretty soon.
Ooh, yeah.
When are we going? We should do a podcast on that, like send a little
we
video
are
recording.
going September 28th, 29th, or 30th.
No
Can't-
way, no way, no way, no way, no way. 28th, 29th in September?
Yeah.
I have a camping trip that weekend.
Aw.
Can't do it.
No.
I am going to a film festival
I
that
could
weekend and
probably-
submitting a film that I
Oh,
made.
no.
Could probably
Or
do
am
the
making.
30th, but like,
Damn.
Yeah.
Well,
well, you can take.
Burnt Reynolds.
Just make sure you record
Yeah.
some of it, put it
Okay.
on our channel.
of course. Okay. Now we get interesting.
Yeah.
So scientists, they have this like long ass lizard. We're going back to like near the end of the Greek, the ancient
So
Greek.
after
like,
after
reign. Like,
after they made the snake.
yes, like
Okay.
just after they
Got it.
stretched out this long ass motherfucking lizard, they were like, huh. We keep feeding it. It keeps getting like bigger and bigger. It's like pretty thick now, like
Mhm.
like barbed.
Barb thick.
And they're like, well, we had fun making this. Like, this is a cool project. You know, we made a lizard 12 times as long as it was originally. They're like, but it takes up a lot of space. Like, you know,
I know where this is going.
You know, where you're trying to wake up in the morning, you trip over your fucking snake that's on the ground.
Happens to me all the time. I hate it.
Like, it's the worst.
I don't know. My snake's okay. He knows to move when I'm getting up. Because I mean, like, he doesn't want to get fallen on. So.
Anyway. I'm so sorry. It feels like really rude when I say that. Like you're just saying this.
Honestly, I feel
Anyway.
like you guys are a little bit rude every podcast.
Yep. And we're sorry.
I deserve it though.
We
so.
are assholes.
Yep.
Bum ba dum ba dum bum bum.
Anyway.
Farmers insurance reference?
This is not sponsored.
You're like, okay. We made this
Please
motherfucker long.
sponsor us.
No, just don't. We made this motherfucker long. We can make this motherfucker short again, right?
Can you please show us the picture while we
Yes,
talk? I know
yes,
the people who happen to listen to this, if they are there, won't
Well,
see.
it's
Well, it
gonna
will be the picture on it.
picture
It'll be
of-
like,
Picture on YouTube.
Yeah.
I want to like see the
So,
picture.
We're playing
So they got out their suture kit and got to work on the snake. And lo and behold, they made
This is
the
good.
greatest thing that ever happened.
This is gonna make me
Unfortunately,
so
they cut off the reproductive system of the snake and
There was only one.
right, then it couldn't reproduce, so it died out, and they were too lazy to make another because it was quite a bit of work.
Yeah.
But they came up with short snake.
Can I see?
It's so tiny.
It looks like it's a rattlesnake with basically just the head and the rattle.
How does it eat?
It ate eggs mostly. Then it got really round.
There are, serious note, there are egg-eating snakes.
Yeah.
You know what they do?
Is its tongue just as long as its body?
Yep.
Yep.
And
Amelia, you ever heard of the egg-eating snake?
No.
All right, so you know what they
Excuse me.
Whoa.
you know what they do. This is another biology lesson, by the way. I watched
Okay.
this. This is some serious snake stuff. Don't worry, we'll get back to Roman Christmas soon. But you know, you got an egg. Imagine this: you're a chicken. You laid a whole bunch of eggs, and it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna fuck off because I'm a terrible parent, and I'm just gonna leave for a little bit, get some food, and come back. And oh no, what? It's coming. It's slithering and sneaking up.
Slithering, watch
And-
out, watch out, watch out!
Yeah, and these snakes, what they do is that they just like unhinge their jaws and eat the egg, the entire thing, and it's hilarious because it just looks like they have a big fat neck, you know, and then the egg kind of crushes. You can see the egg crushing, you know, as its muscles contract.
I can't imagine eating the shell.
No. What happens is
snake, are you?
you can see the egg like crushing itself.
I can imagine eating the shell.
You can see the egg crushing itself, or sorry, the snake crushing the egg, and then what happens is the snake then regurgitates the shell, just coughs it right back up,
Oh.
and digests what was inside. It's really interesting.
And they don't get salmonella? What?
Do they get salmonella?
Yes. And
I have a question.
okay, yeah.
If snakes could talk, what would they say?
So you mean?
No, besides that, I'm
They
thinking
mean-
like
what
Harry
would they
Potter Pulsatone.
say?
If a snake could speak, what would it say?
I feel like that's very stereotypical of you and a little bit speciesist.
Damn, you got kicked out of this podcast.
Animals are innocent. Don't be speciesist.
If snakes could talk, they would be like, "Yo, it's pretty cool."
I think you're right.
I don't got legs.
Yo, look at this! I'm moving without any limbs.
Look, Ma, no legs. All right. Any final comments before the last question?
How do you think rattlesnakes feel about their rattle? Like when it shakes for the first time, we're like, whoa.
I feel like they're just trying to make some tunes, man.
As it turns out, rattlesnakes, every rattlesnake just wants to be in a band.
Yeah, just want a
Well,
place
you know
to
how
stay.
like babies have their own rattles to shake to
Yeah.
comfort themselves.
Yeah.
Isn't that like kind of like nice for them when they're baby snakes? Because then like if they're scared, they can just shake their own tail. It's
Yes,
like, oh, I
because
feel good.
that's what baby snakes require, is entertainment.
Yes.
I agree.
All right. Are you guys ready for the last question?
Final
Yeah.
question, hit me with it.
How many snakes are there?
13!
What?
Hey!
I'm so confused.
Wow. I'm gonna have to show you like the spike of the high five because that was impressive.
It still kind of hurt.
Me too.
I'm so excited about that question.
I'm very confused.
Good. Now I'm the one who wasn't confused for once.
All right, that was it. I believe.
Okay.
Wow, that got me fired up.
Tune in next time, hopefully soon, for the next episode. Hopefully we'll have some more guests on
How
here.
many snakes are there?
This has been Moon Jefferson, Angrew Yort, and Amelia Groundnose. And we're done.